All right, greetings, class, and welcome to week number 1. That is right, week number 1 of your 9410 seminar class, Seminar in Cultural Heritage. I am your professor, Dr. Jace K. Austin, and in today's check-in video, we're going to do just basically a little course overview. And I am also going to, the most important thing that I'm probably going to show you today is I'm going to show you how to speed up the videos if you don't know how to do that. I speak very slowly. I'm from North Carolina, so us Southerners, we speak very slowly. So you are probably going to want to speed up the check-in videos that I do. And usually if you speed them up to about 1.5, you will still be able to catch everything I say because, again, I speak so slowly. I do not have the speaking speed of a lot of these people who do YouTube or YouTube style videos, including Trevor Noah and Matthew Patrick and a lot of these other types of people. So with that said, the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to teach you how to speed up the video. And from there, if you want to, you can speed up the rest of this video once I show you how to do it. So I upload these videos into YouTube. So hold on 1 minute. All right, and so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go to a YouTube video and open it, and you will do this the same way to speed up videos that I create. So,
what if you could open up your very own IV hydration clinic in the next 90 days? Now, if you're a physician or a provider, it is absolutely possible.
Doctor suspended from Houston Methodist over her views on the...
Okay, and I actually just stole my wife's headphones here in order to make this work a little bit better. So let's try this. All right, so.
With supporters right behind her that she plans to file a lawsuit against the hospital system.
If you want to speed up this video, then what you can do is you can go here to settings and go to playback speed, and then, like I said, you can speed me up usually to 1.5 and still catch everything I say.
Until tomorrow, though, officially due to the Dr. King holiday. But this all comes in response to what Dr. Bowden did.
And as you can see, now he's talking super fast.
The COVID treatment and vaccination process was being handled.
But
doctors can't be scared to question the narrative.
If you speed me up like that, then I will pretty much sound just like how most people will sound when they're talking normally if I am sped up. So yes, I do recommend speeding me up, and that way you don't have to suffer through my slow talking as you are watching the check-in video. But I will be recording these check-in videos pretty much every week that we do not have a synced session. So there'll be 3 weeks where I don't record them because we'll have synced sessions on those 3 weeks, and you'll see that in your syllabus what 3 weeks those are. And aside from, well, the check-in videos, they're going to be optional. They could vary in length. They can be anywhere from like 10 minutes to an hour. It just depends on how much I'm trying to go over and what I'm actually trying to announce. But really, half of my students watch them, half of them don't. It won't affect your grade if you don't watch it. But research has been done, and what a lot of the research that's been done on these, the things that students value in their college classes is that a lot of students just value having some sort of dialogue and connection with their professor. And so that's pretty much why I do this. I will make these, I don't recycle the check-in videos. Every check-in video that I do for a course is new for that semester. I don't just roll up the check-in videos from the previous semesters and post them. Because what I'm doing is I am trying to facilitate a dialogue and a connection with the actual students in this iteration of the course. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to do here. And, hopefully that will be appreciated. I will use the check-in videos to give course updates at times, to give state of the course, sort of like state of the union addresses, state of the course addresses, letting you know whether or not you, not individually, but as a whole, whether or not the class is performing up the standards and performing up the task. Some things that I want the class to do differently or to keep doing, and so forth and so on. So the check-in videos are my way of connecting to my class. So that's why these exist. Those of you who have had me before are aware that I do this, but I see a lot of new faces, and I'm glad to see you all. And so for those who are new faces, just know that this is one of the things that I do. Pause. Okay, so the rest of this check-in video is going to be a course overview. It'll probably be about an hour long. This will probably be the longest one that I do for the cultural heritage class. I don't have to do hour-long videos for this class very often. Some of them might be 30 minutes or so, but this will probably be the only hour-long one. And then also, if you speed it up to that 1.5, then even though it will have a hour-long recording time, it will probably actually only take you about 45 minutes to watch it. To watch it if you speed it up. So let's go ahead and get into this course overview. Hopefully after watching this course overview video, you'll get a better feel for what will be expected of you in this course, what we will be going over, and, all of those things. And I have noticed that with the course overview videos that I do specifically, yes, when students watch those, they do tend to do better in the course because then they have a full explanation of what will be going on in the course and why. But the elaboration that I will probably do in this check-in video is not something that I would just be able to put in the Canvas. It'd be too many words and all of that stuff. But let's go ahead and get into it. So, if you go to the landing page for your cultural heritage class, you will see probably something that looks like this. And actually, let me go into student view so that you can so that it'll look exactly like what you are going to see. Okay, so student view. Usually if we click home, it is actually going to just redirect us to the syllabus. That's because I don't really have need for a home page here. First of all, we already do have 3 announcements. Let's go ahead and look at those 3 announcements. The first announcement was just my official welcome. I am letting you all know here about the check-in videos. I'm also letting you all know to go ahead and get started by reading the syllabus and reading the 2 other announcements that we have. If you see any inconsistencies in the course, like inconsistencies with dates, if there's a due date listed one way, and then it's this due date for the same assignment is listed as a different date, please bring that to my attention. I do have those things happen where I just happen to overlook things at times, so please, again, bring those to my attention. If you see any broken links in the modules or in the syllabus, again, let me know, bring that to my attention. The best way to do that is email austinj@missouri.edu, and then also make sure that you take your syllabus quiz by January the 30th, okay? Other things that we have going on here, choosing this is one of the announcements, choosing a cultural heritage project instead of doing a final paper. I did put the pertinent information here, but if you want me to elaborate, that is what I'm going to do right now. So, you will see that you have 3 papers that you have to do in this course. And that includes one final paper that is a 25-point paper. In lieu of doing that final paper, because you may or may not want to do it, in lieu of doing that final paper, I do like for this class to contribute to society as a whole. That's just one of my over-romanticizing of my class, I guess. But I do want the work that's done in this class to contribute to society as a whole if possible. And so the way that I pull that off is you can do a cultural heritage project versus doing that final paper. If you do the project, if you fulfill the project, complete the project, then you will get the 25 points automatically. There won't be any grading on the project. You'll just get the 25 points. And there are a wide variety of things that can count as cultural heritage projects. I had a student do a postcard digitization project that was really cool. So I gave him I let him do that instead of the final paper. That was the first time that I taught this class. This, by the way, is the 3rd time that I'm teaching this class. So if things go as well this time as they did the previous 2 times, then this class will be added to the permanent catalog and no longer be a 9410 class, but will be given its own number. So I am hoping that things go well with this class, and I am hoping that you all help me fulfill that desire to have this class go well. So, yeah, the postcard digitization project, which was example A here, that was one that one of my students in the first semester that I taught this class did. Then in the second semester, I had a few more students do projects. One of the projects that was done was I did have a student produce promotional materials for a museum in her community. That was pretty cool. And then I also had a student that did a genealogy workshop volunteer at their library. And so there are a lot of different ways that this can go. But it would need to be something that is a cultural heritage project that actually benefits some cultural heritage institution of some sort. But if you have any ideas, just go ahead and contact me and we will determine whether your idea is feasible. But there are a lot of different things that can be done. Some other things that can be done, if you create a finding aid for an archive in your area, any sort of presentation that you just volunteer to do for the local library or local museum or local archives in your area, that is probably going to count as long as it has some form of cultural heritage sort of component to it. And that can even include like gaming. Like a lot of people are into like Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. If you do some sort of Magic the Gathering workshop at your library, just send me a flyer or an announcement that your library is hosting it and that you are the key speaker or the main speaker or the organizer, and I will totally let you do that instead of doing the final paper. Because again, I want these to be things that benefit the community or society at large. Okay, so any work that you do that would have a broader reach than some final paper, I am all for it. You have until February 15th to decide on something. So I am currently recording this and will upload this on January 19th. So you have a little under a month to figure something out. You may want to look at some of the syllabus, at some of the readings on the syllabus or in the modules to kind of get some ideas between now and then, even if you look ahead. Because yeah, there are just a lot of possibilities. And so, yeah, there will probably not be very many possibilities that I will, or any, there probably won't be very many, proposals that I will turn down so long as they do something to benefit a cultural heritage institution or a community in a cultural heritage fashion. So, please consider that, because I'll also be honest, like the fewer papers I have to grade at the end of the semester, the better, because I do actually read and grade these papers. I don't just assign them and not read them. I actually do take the time to read them, but this is my first semester where I'm teaching 3 classes instead of 2, so I will have lots and lots of final projects, and so any lower amount of final projects that I have to do will be cool with me. And by the way, you don't have to do an actual paper on the project that you do. So like if you do the workshop, just like for instance, if you do a library workshop, then just tell me, oh, I did a library workshop on the history of my town, and then just send me like the announcement. I'm assuming that your library will have some sort of, even just like a Twitter announcement from the official library Twitter or something. As long as it's an official announcement, you don't have to actually write a reflection paper or anything like that. You just do what you're doing and then you will get the 25 points. All right. The other announcement that I wanted to go over really quick was the guest speakers so far. I am looking for a guest speaker on April the 26th. I do not have that yet. But on February the 8th, we will have Josh Shepard, who teaches at the University of Colorado at Boulder, and he will be talking about a digital humanities project that he's doing that is federally grant funded. So that's going to be pretty interesting. By the way, the guest speaker sessions are all mandatory. So I do say that in the syllabus, but I'm letting you all know that right now as well. They're mandatory, and if you miss one, you will probably be out of contention for an A+, even if you get final grade of 100 due to extra credit that you get for doing multiple discussion posts. If you miss my guest speakers, I'm not going to take that lightly. That if you're sick or you're in court or in jail, that's a whole other thing. But if you just miss them because you forgot them or you felt you had something better to do, I want my speakers to have an audience. So I am going to take that kind of seriously if you miss the classes and don't have a good reason to miss them. On March the 22nd, we will have Andrea Gavin Jackson, and she is the Director of Engagement and Scholarship at the AUC Woodruff Library in Atlanta, which is a HBCU library that serves Clark Atlanta, Morehouse, and Spelman universities in Atlanta. HBCU, by the way, is historically Black colleges and universities. And that's what Andrea will be talking about. She'll be speaking about cultural heritage preservation at historically Black colleges. I will let you all know once I confirm as speaker for April the 26th, but as of right now, I've not been able to confirm one yet, but I am still looking. If you have any ideas of somebody who might be a speaker on April the 26th that might work out very well, you are welcome to email me that information as well, and I may reach out to them if I think that there's somebody who can do something that's within the scope of the class. All right, so let's go ahead and do this syllabus overview. This will probably take about 20 minutes. All right, so if you go to the syllabus, you will see, first of all, you will see right there those meeting dates, February 8th, March the 22nd, and April 26th, from 7 until 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Please note that you will need to be present for whatever date. You will need to know when the meeting starts in your time zone. So if you are on East Coast time, you need to know that we will start at 8 instead of 7. And if you are in the Mountain time zone, then we will start at 6. If you're on the West Coast, we will start at 5. But yes, not knowing when we start due to your time zone is not an excuse for absence. So, class description. The cultural heritage has many definitions, but deals largely with the overarching legacy formed among a culture of people through such things as oral tradition and folklore, artifacts, monuments, architecture, and literature. The seminar and cultural heritage course will introduce students to cultural heritage concepts and explore pressing contemporary topics on cultural heritage, such as the importance and value of heritage tourism, why cultural heritage is historically a target for military attacks, and who merits commemoration in the public square. All right, if you need my instructor information, you can call me Jason or Dr. Jace or Jace or Dr. Austin or Professor Austin or whatever you want to call me. I'm not picky about that. But most of my students do call me Dr. Jace. I can be reached most easily by email, which is austinj@missouri.edu. I do have an office phone, 816-235-1875, and I do have a physical office at Miller Nichols Library on the campus of UMKC in Kansas City, Missouri. I can schedule an appointment with you, but my office hours are by appointment. So if you would like to speak to me, go ahead and reach out to me to set up an appointment, and we will do so. All right, course overview. There are many things that can fall under that umbrella of cultural heritage. Most people think specifically about museums and archives, but cultural heritage is much, much broader. It can include local business. It can include cemeteries. It can include fashion. There are just so many things that fall under this umbrella of cultural heritage, and hopefully at the end of the semester you will have a better understanding of how cultural heritage things interact and intersect in order to create and build cultures or create and build communities. Okay. Student learning outcomes, and this is important for your e-portfolio. We will have assignments that address student learning outcomes 1 and 4 in this class. So the student learning outcome number 1, graduates will apply the core principles, ethics, values, and body of knowledge to the questions in library science, library and information science according to their area of specialty. The visit a heritage site and reflection paper that will that is a paper that falls under slow number 1. I'm sorry. The 4 cultural heritages paper is the second paper that you will do, and that falls under slow number 4. And slow number 4 is graduates will be able to assess community needs, formulate plans to respond to users of information agencies, and instruct users in using information resources. So basically, the reason that this information is here is because you are going to have assignments from your courses include it in your e-portfolio, which you will do in your last semester here at Mizzou. And so for your papers or your assignments that you include in your e-portfolio, they correspond to the different student learning outcomes. So the four cultural heritages paper, that will be something that you can include in your SLO 4 section of your e-portfolio in section number 1, or for SLO number 1, you can include your visit to a heritage site and reflection paper. All right, technical issues. If you are having issues with Canvas, or if you are having issues with email or anything like that, the best place to go is not your instructor. You can ask me, and then I will redirect you to the help desk, which is area code 573-882-5000, or you can email techsupport@missouri.edu. Access to the library. Pretty much all of the, we do not have a textbook for this class, by the way. I had a textbook the first semester I taught the class. The students absolutely hated the textbook, so I phased it out the second time I taught the class, and the students were much happier without that textbook. So we will continue without the textbook for this semester. So access to most of your resources is either going to be free over the web, or it will come through the Missouri Library. And if you're having any issues accessing something through the library, you can contact a librarian, and you can also contact me. And I may refer you back to the librarian depending on what the nature of your issue is with accessing a resource. There is technical help available, again, through the help desk. Online class etiquette. Your instructor and your fellow students wish to foster a safe online learning environment. All opinions and experiences, no matter how different, no matter how different or controversial they may be perceived, must be respected and tolerated in the academic discourse. You are encouraged to comment, question, or critique an idea, but you are not to attack individuals. Our differences, some of which are outlined in the university's non-discrimination statement, will add richness and fullness to the learning experience. So, and this becomes something that becomes a big deal, specifically in a module that we have that is dealing with Confederate commemoration. I think that because I'm Black, I actually have students that are afraid to say it if they are in favor of Confederate commemoration. And don't get me wrong, I strongly oppose commemoration of the Confederate States of America on the U.S. tax dollar, not just because I'm a descendant of slaves, but also because I don't know that it's that great of an idea for us to be using U.S. tax dollars to commemorate people who made war against the United States government. I just don't think that that is the best use of our tax dollars, but private commemoration, you know what, fine. But having said that, if you are pro-Confederate commemoration on the tax dollar dime, that is perfectly fine. You know, you can make your arguments as to why you are. I will not give you an F or hate you for doing that. You know, it is all about, it's all about ideas. And if you have ideas that you can explain reasonably and logically, I am not going to hate on those ideas. Okay. Our 3 sync sessions will be, we will use Zoom to have our 3 sync sessions. I will send out those Zoom links probably about 2 or 3 days before the sync session. The reason I don't send those out, right at the start of the class, which students have asked me to do, is because, quite frankly, some of my Zoom meetings have just disappeared when they have been made too far out. So that's why I put them in 2 or 3 days ahead of time, is so that they don't end up disappearing on me. That is the sole reason why that happens. Okay. So, and to participate in the Zoom meetings, I do recommend that you have a headset, but a lot of times you will have your cameras and microphones built into your computer these days. So if you have that, by all means, use that. However, I do prefer that if you are going to be speaking or asking a question, that you use headphones, and that way we won't have feedback issues where your microphone is picking up the computer audio and then regurgitating it back into the Zoom session. That's how we get echoes and that sort of thing. All right. You can also join Zoom through the phone if you need to. Textbooks, there are no textbooks, additional materials. You will see those outlined in the syllabus, which is what we are going over now, and those will also be in the modules. The grading scale, anything 91 or above will get you an A, 81 to a 90, a B, 71 to 80, a C, 70 or below is an F. Ds are not awarded to graduate students. I do reserve the right to award to award pluses or minuses to any grade letter, with pluses being offered for exceptional work within a letter grade and minuses being awarded for substandard work within a letter grade. So when I say that, what I mean is even if you get an A, but your discussion posts are very shallow and don't reflect that you read the material or gave any thought or anything like that, then you will probably likely get an A minus as opposed to an A. And then by a similar token, you will probably get an A plus if you show, if you go above and beyond the effort that is required to get just a regular A. Also, just to let you all know, missing sync sessions, that will also have an effect on if you get an A plus or an A minus. If you miss a sync session, then there's no way you're going to get an A plus unless you were like sick, or again, if you are in court and that affects you or something like that. But missing just because you forgot or you got the time wrong or something like that, that is going to prevent you from getting the coveted A plus. Late work, I'm actually more flexible with the late work than what is put in the syllabus. It's just that I have to state it a certain way in the syllabus to cover my own ass. And so that's what I'm doing. So late work will automatically be lowered by 25%. Assignments more than 3 days late will not be accepted unless prior arrangements have been made. I can be a little flexible on this, especially, things happen. I am human, so come to me if something is happening that may force you to turn in your assignment a little late. And they can be positive or negative things. If your dog dies or something, like a day or two before an assignment is due, I know that's sad, you know what I'm saying? And so, even though pets are not in the official bereavement policy for the university, yes, if you have a pet die, I will take sympathy on you for that and give you, a few extra days to turn in your assignment. Same deal with, if you, if your car breaks down or you're in a car accident and you're just shook up and you can't get the assignment done because that car issue caused you some complications, reach out to me and, I'll give you a little bit of an extension. That's fine. I'm human. No problem. I'm actually very nice despite what some other people might have told you. I'm a very nice person. It's just that I'm also kind of no nonsense and I believe in tough love because I'm a Southerner and that's how we are. But, having said that, reach out to me if, something is going to delay you. Also, happy things might delay you. If you get married over the weekend, I'm not going to expect you to rush back to your computer to get your assignment in on Sunday. If you got married on Saturday, just let me know. I'll give you a few extra days, that sort of thing. So how things work, the assignments, the syllabus quiz needs to be completed by January the 30th. That is available for 1 point total. There is a midterm quiz that is 4 points. It's a very easy quiz that will be due by March the 20th. attending these synced sessions. The first synced session on February 8th, when we listen to Josh, that's going to be 4 points. Andrea's synced session in March is going to be 3 points. And then the to be determined synced session on April the 26th, that'll also be worth 3 points. Mini interview with a cultural heritage worker. You will need to do that and put that in the discussion board. And the reason that we have this assignment is because this assignment gives you a chance to get vocational guidance on some various types of cultural heritage professions, and you can get that vocational guidance through the work of your classmates. So that's why it's a discussion board post, and we'll go back and look at that assignment a little fuller, but that'll be worth 5 points. That'll be due on April the 17th. Your first paper, your visit to a cultural heritage site, write up in reflection, that'll be worth 10 points. That'll be due on February the 13th. So you have about 3 weeks to get that done. A little more than 3 weeks to get that done, but get that done soon. Your top four cultural heritages paper, that'll be due on March the 13th, and that will be worth 15 points. And then your final paper, that will be due on May the 9th, and that'll be worth 25 points. And again, you can elect to do a project in lieu of that final paper. Discussion board participation, we have 15 discussion prompts. Each one is worth 2 points. Your original post will be worth 1 point, and then you can get a additional point for replying to a classmate. You can get extra credit for responding to multiple classmates, so keep that in mind. And so that will be a total of 100 points possible in the class. Written assignments do have to quote from and cite other sources. They need to be done in APA format. And they need to be submitted through the submission portal. I will not be taking them via email. And you can have them in Word or PDF form, rich text format, those sorts of things. There are several formats that Canvas will take. Grading criteria for the discussion board. I don't follow this too religiously, but yeah, this is the basics of what needs to be done. First of all, you should have your okay. I see what I did there. Sorry about that. Even though it says that your first posting should be up by Thursday night, I'm not a stickler for that. I am not going to count off if both your original post and your reply come on Sunday. It's just that I do need to have some posts up by Thursday because that gives people something to respond to. If everybody waits until Sunday to put up both their posts and their response, and there'll be nothing to respond to. So that's why that language is there, but I'm not actually going to put in grades until Monday or Tuesday after the Sunday that the discussion board is due. So having said that, if you are a little late, if you're a little late for doing your original post, if you don't get that up by Thursday, that's fine. Getting it up Friday, Saturday, or Sunday will still not result in you losing points. Some other things that you need to keep in mind when it comes to the discussion board is again, just be respectful of what your classmates are posting. Be respectful for the personhood of your classmates. There are some things that I am just not going to tolerate. It'll be up to me to determine since I'm the instructor, although I will take feedback from students on if something is offensive. But if you're, if you have a sexist or a transphobic, homophobic, racist, any sort of thing like that, if you have that going on in your discussion board posts, I will probably say something to you about it. I will probably not embarrass you in front of your classmates, but at the same time, there are certain things that I can't tolerate if I'm going to have a safe environment for all of my students. And so, yes, if you have, if you have some views that are anti-trans or LGBTQ plus or anti-black or anti-woman or whatever the case may be, you may want to keep those things to yourself, okay? But it'll be up for me to determine if something has crossed into that boundary. But again, students, if you think that somebody has violated that, just contact me directly via email. And I will look at it and make a determination from there. If we have to call in people from Title IX to deal with something, we will do that as well. All right. Also, by the way, you agree to, now I'm different. So if I say something that's inappropriate and you feel the need to share that on social media or share it outside of the course, that's fine because I'm the instructor. So there is a bigger burden on me. But if somebody says something, what your classmates say needs to stay in this classroom. Do not screenshot and skip and share what your classmates said without their consent, at least, in your social media or anything like that. Do not do that. I'm very serious about that. I will flunk you if I catch or find out that you took something that was said in this class and shared it and attached your classmate's name to it. And just put your classmate on blast by name outside of this course. You do not do that. That is a form of bullying as far as I'm concerned. Don't do that. I will fail you if you do that. All right. But I have not had that problem so far, and I hope to never have that problem. Expectations. This course is designed to meet virtually. We will have mostly asynchronous meeting and discussion through the discussion board. I am expecting you all to log into the course 2 to 3 times a week at least. And if you have a question for me, you can email it to me. You can also put it in the discussion board area for questions, but you can email that to me. And if you email it to me, I will try to get back to you within 72 hours, usually quicker than that. But if you don't hear from me within 72 hours, you can email me again because something may have happened. Again, you will log into this course no fewer than 2 or 3 times per week. Each week the course will have a corresponding instructional unit with assigned readings, instructor commentary, and weekly discussion questions. Okay, so that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. That'll be pretty self-explanatory. So let's go through the modules. The first module, which you are already doing, the week 1 module, which is from January 18th to the 23rd, this coming Sunday. You have these readings that are required. Again, if there is a link broken or something that you cannot access, then let me know. You do not have to read this whole book, by the way. It's pages 7 through 13 and 27 through 34. All of these other things, and you should see the same things in the module. Let me just kind of show you here. The information in the module should be corresponding, okay? So you should be able to just click one of these and get into those links in the module. So I'm not going to go through the modules. I'm just going to go down the syllabus right now. Our topic in the first week is going to be Introduction to Cultural Heritage Concepts. And by the way, this is something else that I want to let you all know ahead of time. The really, really hard and dense reading in this class is actually kind of front-loaded. So the first 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, that's when you get the really technical reading that lays the foundation for the rest of the class. So yeah, these first 4 weeks, I know you all are going to be like, man, this reading is awful. After the first 4 weeks, trust me, the reading gets more interesting. It is not as academic after the first 4 weeks. And you'll have more fun with the reading. There'll also be some documentaries, videos to watch after the first 4 weeks. But we've got to get through these first 4 weeks to lay the groundwork. So just be patient with these first 4 weeks, and then things get more fun. But I do know that these first 4 weeks are going to be kind of trying because the information is going to be a little drier. But you're going to get introduction to basic cultural heritage concepts with the readings for this first week. Hold on one moment. That is my alarm. I gotta take care of that. Excuse me. Okay. So, and yeah, you'll do your syllabus quiz, as well as your discussion board prompt for this. And yeah, this will lay some of the groundwork for understanding some of the other concepts that we will be going over in this class. Week 2, will be preservation concerns and cultural heritage. So the objective is to introduce students to preservation concerns related to cultural heritage. There are many, but this is introductory, and a lot of these readings are kind of short. I know you see a lot of readings there, but a lot of these readings are like 1 page long and that sort of thing. So don't freak out by seeing a listing of 7 readings. They're going to be, even though this class actually is pretty reading intensive, a lot of the readings are short and a lot of the readings are non-scholarly. So just keep that in mind as you're looking through these, but these are some of the things. I'll just click this one as an example to show you. So yeah, it's a reading that will probably take you about 10 minutes at the most to get through. Okay. But these are things that cultural heritage professionals have to be aware of when they are working in the cultural heritage field. All right. So that is week 2, those preservation concerns. And then there are 3 types of cultural heritage, like 3 broad types of cultural heritage. You have landscape heritage, and then you also have tangible and intangible heritage. So that's pretty much how that breakdown goes. And so we are going to have a bit of a, I guess, I had the lighter material go first in this case in order to give you a break from the heavy material of the first 2 weeks. So in the 3rd week, January the 31st through February the 6th, you will have a closer look at landscape or natural heritage. And you will have these things to read that'll kind of give you or watch that'll kind of just give you an idea. This is actually a very neat video right here, and this is the video that your discussion prompt will focus on for that week, is the St. Helena Island, South Carolina video. It's pretty much a documentary, but it goes in its 37-minute long documentary. But
in the middle of that plow while he's plowing down the roads.
It really, really does give you, it gives you a lot of help in just basically understanding landscape heritage, because the St. Helena Island is full of like landscape heritage-y type of things going on with it. And you've got some readings as well. And then also, I think also, yeah, this is optional. So you will see things that are marked optional. If you look at the modules as opposed to the syllabus, and you'll see that as well. Things will be marked optional, but this is another video that'll be optional. And this is more Midwestern. I'm a Southerner. I'm from the Carolinas, but if you are interested in more of this Midwestern preservation, because this stuff really does vary by region as well, then you may want to check out the Preserving Indiana's Architectural Heritage video. That video is pretty cool. All right. And you have the readings as well. In week 4, we will have a closer look at tangible and material heritage, and that can include things like houses are actually kind of debatable. Some people count houses as landscape heritage, and then some people count them as tangible material heritage. I don't want to really have a debate on that. I'm cool either way. But yes, you'll have some readings here, and some of these readings will include things related to fashion. They will, that's my dog that's squealing if you hear him. User engagement of digital heritage. So a lot of times actual tangible heritage is actually digitized so that people who wouldn't have the ability to see it in person and to interact with it, they can still interact with it on an online interface. But a lot of things artifacts, of course, fall under tangible heritage. And so all of these things, you'll understand them better as you get through these modules. In week number 5, we will have a closer look at intangible heritage, and that can include oral tradition, myths, folklore, all of those different things. And so the readings here are designed to help you understand that a little better. We do also have a TED Talk, Intangible Heritage, Why Should We Care? And I think that, again, this is something that's going to give you a very, a more solid view of the differences between the 3 types of heritage and why the heritages are actually kind of classified in these 3 overarching these 3 categories. Okay. All right. So you've got that going on. We'll scroll down. Once you get past, I know I said the first 4 weeks, it's really like the first 5 weeks. But once you get into week 6, that's when things I think take more of a fun turn and the readings get a little less heavy, a little less academic. There are still academic readings in all of the modules, but things aren't as rigid and academic after those first 5 weeks. So we get into week 6, which starts on February the 21st. And music is a form of intangible heritage, except like the sheet music itself. If you're trying to be technical, the sheet music itself, yes, that would be tangible heritage. But as far as music itself and performing music, that would be intangible heritage. But music is such a big area in cultural heritage that I decided to give it its own module. So you will see week 6, we will focus on music as tangible, music as cultural heritage. And, yeah, my students in spring 2020, by the way, they were the ones that brought about this change because I kept getting that as a knock in my evaluations. The students kept saying, why wasn't music given its own module? He just put it in with intangible heritage and it needed to be its own module. And they were right. And I had that same comment about 20 times. I kid you not. And so I made it its own module and it worked well in the spring 2021 iteration of this course. It went well. And so I have kept it. So you will have some readings on music and then you will also have some optional readings, but your activity that week is actually pretty cool. So I'll show you what your activity is going to be really quick. Your activity for week number 6 is going to be, you all have been assigned a music documentary that has cultural heritage implications. So you'll see your name side any of these. You'll see your name with the video that you are supposed to watch, and you are basically going to watch your documentary and then give a review. And that was it. Seems that was the favorite thing for my spring 2021 students, is that they absolutely loved watching those documentaries and then discussing the documentaries that they watched. So I'm very glad to be doing that again. And I did kind of assign you all these at random. So you may be getting acquainted with a type of music that you normally don't pay attention to. And that's okay, because I want you all to kind of broaden your horizons with the content of this course. So don't just go into, like, for instance, if you are Indigenous, don't just look at Indigenous heritage, look at some Irish heritage. If you are African American, same deal. If you are white, learn about some Asian heritage and some of these things. And I think that's what will make us a better society, is if we have more appreciation for the cultural heritage of groups outside of our own and outside of our own immediate interests. Week number 7, starting on February the 28th, we will talk about Indigenous peoples' concerns with cultural heritage, just in general. And a lot of these do center around what happens to heritage when populations are colonized, as well as who owns cultural property, and why, and who should have the right to present it, and that sort of thing. And by the way, when I talk about Indigenous people here, I'm not necessarily talking about Indigenous Americans or First Nations or Native Americans. I'm talking about people who were in continents before European colonization. So I would also be calling Australian Aboriginal people indigenous to Australia, and they would be included, or pre-colonization Africans, sub-Saharan Africans, they would be considered indigenous in this context. But we also do talk about Indigenous Americans, and that is what a lot of this reading is also centered around, including this, I believe, the Museums and Indigenous Peoples piece from 1982, a very old piece, but it's a piece that I think laid the groundwork for a lot of these questions that came much, much later. Okay. So, you'll have that, and we've got some optional pieces in there too. In week number 8, we will talk about the hidden heritage of small town and local business. And you will actually watch the first 45 minutes of a video I made myself where I interviewed the owner of the local record store at the time. The store has since closed. I recorded this video on Christmas Eve, I believe, of 2019 or 2020, one of the two. I believe 2019. You'll watch the first 45 minutes. You can watch the whole thing if you want to, but in order to complete the discussion prompts, you will need to watch the first 45 minutes, and you can turn it off from there. And you can also speed this video up because, like I've been saying, I talk slowly. However, I will say that Bill does not talk as slowly as I do. So when you do watch this, yeah, you can speed it up to get through my parts, but then you might miss some of the things that Bill says. So just keep that in mind. There are also three readings that go on there. One of the readings has this odd little thing going on with it, this Feeney reading. So if you are having trouble accessing the Feeney reading, then I would just say contact me or contact the library and they will assist you in getting that. These other two you shouldn't have problems accessing because they're free over the web anyway. Week number 9, more than just resting places, cemeteries is cultural heritage resources. This is very important stuff. The legacy of our cultures and of our people are, they remain in our cemeteries. And so cemeteries are very important pieces of cultural heritage, and they're also pieces of cultural heritage that get disrespected from time to time. And you'll see that with one of the readings here, this Duke reading here. Where they were planning to build a plant over a slave burial ground. So the readings here also, I believe, are pretty interesting. The things that got retained from spring 2021 are the things that seem to do well with the students. Week 10, starting on March the 21st, and you will also, this will go into spring break, so you'll really have 2 weeks to do the week 10 stuff. But this is undermining identity, knowledge, and culture, why invaders and terror groups often attack cultural heritage. You'll also learn about why, what position UNESCO takes on attacks on cultural heritage, and why cultural heritage is considered off limits for war and that sort of thing. In today's day and age, because we lose so much that we can't get back when heritage is destroyed. And so you've got quite a few readings here. You've got a lot of optional readings here too. So if this is something that you wish to look at when dealing with the information in your final paper, then that's something that this module will help you out with that. Also, the 4 Heritages paper will be due that week. Week number 11, Heritage Tourism. That is a big deal. Heritage Tourism actually does fund a lot of, and we got to get rid of that. So yes, I've got to, I do have a syllabus error that I need to take out there and will take out. I apologize for that, but yes, we will not hear from Dr. Benjamin this time around. But she is a scholar in heritage tourism, and she is very interesting in the stuff that she does. And I went to graduate school with her, so that's how I was familiar with her. Tried to get her back this semester, but it just did not work out for her schedule. But yeah, you'll learn about heritage tourism through the resources that you have to read there. Week number 12, Confederate commemoration. This is a very interesting topic for Southerners in particular, I've noticed, but then students who don't come from the South, they don't embrace it quite as much. However, I do want to let you all know, especially since a lot of you are living in or are from Missouri or Kansas, one thing that we were not taught in the South, and you may or may not know this, but I had students from Missouri and from the Midwest tell me they weren't aware of this either in my class last semester. But some of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War were fought along the Kansas-Missouri border. So the reason I say that is because I was surprised by this. Actually, in the first iteration of the class in spring 2020, this was actually a 2-week module. And the students complained about that because they didn't want to hear that much about the Civil War. But if I were in the Carolinas, people down in the Carolinas, they love to talk about the Civil War, probably to a scary extent. And that tends to be true with Southerners, but Midwesterners, maybe not so much. So I did condense it into 1 week. However, our ethics related to commemoration and those sorts of things, those things line up with Confederate commemoration. And so there's a lot of fodder that you can discuss by discussing Confederate commemoration. You can discuss the ethics of whether or not taxpayers should foot the dime for the cost of Confederate commemoration. That's what this Smithsonian Magazine article is about. And there is a lot of reading for that week. And then there are a lot of optional readings. But I will say this, if you decide to do the Confederate commemoration piece for your final paper, then a lot of the source material that you need, you will have right here in this module. So this is 2 weeks condensed into 1 week. And so I had to make like half of the readings optional, but you still get a lot of fodder in what is required for that week as well. Okay. No, let's not do that. No, we'll do that later. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go over an hour. I apologize. Women in commemoration and other elements of Confederate. I'm starting to lose it. Okay, week 13, women in commemoration and other elements of cultural heritage. The objective with this module is to, for one thing, just celebrate women and the contributions that women make to this field, because that is under discussed. Men are commemorated a lot more and memorialized a lot more and that sort of thing. And so we have done a disservice to the women who have played very important and integral roles in history and in culture and in cultural heritage. So you do have an interview that you will watch in this module. It's my interview with Dr. Alexandria Russell, and she had a dissertation related to commemoration of Black women in particular. So that's a really interesting interview. And then we also have some readings to do as well. For this module, you do have some optional readings as well as the required readings. But yes, it's very important to actually celebrate women and commemorate women, and our society has not done a just job in doing that. Week number 14, food as cultural heritage. This is one book that you will read the introduction and then 3 chapters of your choice, and then you will hit the discussion board for that. That link was broken a few days ago, so I'm actually just going to check on that real quick. Why not? Make sure I still have access to this book, because I was a little worried about that. Okay, yeah, so it's back. So Edible Identities, you will read the introduction and then 3 chapters of your choice from that ebook, which is free to access through the university's library. And then finally, on May the 2nd, our final module will be Forgotten Heritage, and this will include 2 videos. One, you don't need a Facebook account, by the way, which I don't have one active. You don't need a Facebook account to actually access this video. So it'll just pop right on up and you can watch it from there. 20 minutes long. And then there's another video that's a little longer than that, this Forgotten Heritage video here. Okay. So that is your course overview. We're going to talk about the assignments really quick. This should take about 10 to 15 more minutes and we'll be done. So I hope you sped me up. Let's talk about these assignments really, really quickly. We've already talked about one of the assignments. We've talked about we've touched on that you can substitute the final paper for a project, and I really do hope that most, if not all of you, do that, but we'll see how that works out. So let's talk about the other things. The mini interview with the cultural heritage worker, which will be due in April. Basically, this can be as simple as you emailing this person, asking them these 5 questions, having them type the answers up, and then just posting those questions in the discussion board. If you want to do other things like it's perfectly fine if you want to like record an interview and then upload the interview file or something, or a link to the interview file or something like that. But basically, this is vocational guidance. This is to help your classmates know some of the careers that are going to be available in cultural heritage, how they can score one of those jobs. And in cultural heritage, if they see something that's interesting to them that somebody else is doing, then they can learn what that person had to do to get there, and your classmate may have to go a similar route. And that's why this is a discussion board thing, is so that after all of these have been collected, I'm going to encourage you all to go through and read them all, and that way you can find out what you need to do in order to pursue various careers within cultural heritage. Okay. The final paper prompts, if you don't do a project, then there are 2 prompts to, why is this happening? Okay. There are 2 prompts that you can answer. One of them is related to the Confederate commemoration. You can pick some sort of topic, one of these topics, answer one of these questions within Confederate commemoration, or, you know, Confederate cultural heritage, and explain, make an argument, that sort of thing. Or you can talk about commemoration in general. That's the second prompt here. So you can look at whether or not somebody should or should not be commemorated, naming controversies and that sort of thing. Those abound in our field. So it is good to get used to those and to learn about how they're dealt with ahead of time. And so that second prompt will assist you with that. Okay. Now, the other papers, the top 4 cultural heritages of a community for 15 possible points. And we do have a rubric for this. We have rubrics for the other papers as well. For this one, you will determine what the top 4 cultural heritages in a community be. In that community could be a part of the city. It could be the whole city. It could be the whole county. It could potentially be a state, but I would also say that a whole state may be too much to consider community. But if you can make an argument for including an entire state, that's fine by me. You'll identify those 4 heritages, and then you will explain how those heritages combine and contribute to the overall identity of your selected community. And there are sample papers for this, so you can read these sample papers to kind of get a better idea of just of how all of that works, and what I'm looking for with one of these papers. Okay. And then finally, and I'm going backwards, that one is due in March. To look at the paper that's due on February 13th, the visit to a cultural heritage site. This should be a 4 to 6 page reflection paper. Again, it should be done in APA style. It should cite some sources, and build on some knowledge that has already been established. I don't want to be too picky as far as what you can count as a heritage site or resource, but if you want to ask me ahead of time if something will count, that is what I'm here for. So you can definitely email me and ask if this counts, and if it does, then I will tell you it does. You can also visit online heritage sites. If you are worried about COVID, then I do not want you to risk your health. So you can find something like, you can go to an online museum. That's perfectly fine. And there are some online museums that you can visit the entire museum online. And we do have, again, a sample paper here. I don't know why it's not loading. Okay, there it is. All right, well, I'll just load it in the Word then. But you should be able to also run it in the interface in the browser. And so this, again, is another example heritage paper. And so you can adapt this to whatever. You can use this as an example, and then you can create your own cultural heritage paper based on following this kind of format, providing this type of information. If you match something or exceed something in the quality that this paper is done in, then you should have no problems with getting an A on that paper. So that is our hour-long course overview, which is going to 1 hour and 5 minutes. Again, I hope you sped me up. If you did, then this shouldn't have been quite as tasking, but I am going to cut it off right here, and just say if you have questions or feedback or anything like that, just email me any place, anytime, any town. Oh, I'm sorry. There actually are a few other things that I want to cover. There is a discussion board area for questions, so you can put those in the question comment area here. And then there's a free for all, so y'all can get to know each other. Y'all can talk about anything in the free for all area. You can talk about March Madness or the Super Bowl. You can talk about an event you went to. You can talk about anything there, but that's your way to network with your classmates. I want you all to make friends while you are in this program, because I'm still friends with a lot of people I went to library school with, and so those types of connections, they can last throughout your whole career. Okay, now we are going to cut it short. I am Dr. J's Peace and Grace, and I will see you with a check-in video next week. Thank you.